Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga-Texas construction update video.
Another Friday here at Giga-Texas, and there's always a lot of activity going around the entire site. Now, it is not a production day, but we still see a lot of vehicles over at the outbound lot, and that would include a bunch more new Cybercabs. It seems like they are producing them at a kind of a slow pace, but they are producing them nonetheless. Of course, that is possibly linked to the big Cybercab launch event that could be coming up by the end of this month. And if you are still looking for tickets for that, the opportunity to do so through the Robotaxi app is still there, and it runs until midnight on Sunday. So all you have to do is take a ride and you get a ticket for that raffle. You can also submit a 3x5 card in the mail, and of course with that link that I'll have in my video description, you can go there and get all the rest of the details. Now, they are also doing more of the testing over at the test track today, and I did a little bit more of an interesting flight there, kind of starting high and working my way down and then following along some of the activity. They're doing a lot of stop and go and lane change testing today. Not sure if that indicates anything in particular. Now, for the rest of the site and construction, I kind of wanted to concentrate a little bit more than usual over at the east side, that advanced technology chip fab, and also on the north campus with the Optimus factory. I've had some viewers ask me to spend a little bit more time there, so I will do that in the video. Needless to say, the Advanced Technology Chip Fab Foundation is seeing a ton of work, everything from excavations, filling in trenching, doing geopiers, doing some concrete reinforced piers, doing a lot of rebar caging, and with the concrete pours in multiple different locations, and also some vertical forms for vertical concrete structures. So there is just a lot of activity there, and with the amount of vehicles and people working on it, it seems like it is a high priority to get this foundation done so they can start erecting the main building. Up at the North Campus, it's very similar. A lot of the work to assemble that steel structure, and as I mentioned on my previous video, they've more than doubled the amount of cranes that are operating there. We do see on the south end more excavations for footings, more geopiers, and 3 or 4 different kinds of footings, different heights of pedestal footings and flat footings, along with perimeter grade beam work. On the east side, on the ground, we see trusses that have been delivered. These are normally used to span open sections in the structure that don't have a lot of need for support. We've seen several of those here at Giga-Texas in some of the second floor or the higher floors. So we may be seeing something similar over at the Optimus factory in some of the areas yet to be built. Everything else that we're seeing is still heavily reinforced with beams and columns, 4 floors, roof and floor decking, rebar, and preparation for more concrete pours for the floors. And a lot more just to concentrate on the construction of the Optimus factory. Nearby, they do have a portable steel corrugated pipe manufacturing plant. The last that we saw this was back in 2020 and early 2021 when they were doing what is called the Giga Water Loop, which is a large underground water management system. So I expect to see something similar being put up by the Optimus factory. So without further ado, there's a lot more to see. Let's get the drone in the air, fly around, and see what Giga-Texas looks like on this Friday, and I hope you have a great weekend.
If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description. If you are interested in Tesla products, you can help yourself and support me by using my referral code. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you. My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga-Texas. Well, good morning on the west side here at Giga-Texas. A beautiful morning to fly. It is actually pretty hot, but there is so much to show you what's going on. I thought I would start at the test track today, try a little bit different angle, and get a good view of the entire track and all of the Cybercabs that are going around the main oval. They're doing a lot of kind of stop and go testing. In addition to that, kind of lane change maneuvers as well on the straights. So I'm not sure what exactly they are trying to test, but they are doing this considerable amount of testing. It's every day, and it starts right as the sun is coming up, or even before that, and running all the way through the end of the day. So they are racking up a lot of miles on these particular Cybercabs, doing all kinds of different test scenarios. And as we get a little bit lower and over to this part of the track, you can see that they are kind of doing stop and go testing. I don't see a stop sign, but they are stopping in this long line while others go around them on the straights. Going to follow the oval, watch it as we have more of the vehicles come by. We'll kind of maneuver around to look to the south and then back to the west along the track. Also, there are cones showing another lane on the infield, or that smaller oval. Of course, the long lanes with the yellow kind of dividers on both sides are very visible. I'm going to turn back towards the testing and operations center. There are the superchargers that still don't look like they are completely installed yet, but they are in position. Many more of the Cybercabs parked here. Another one exiting out of the entrance. And also it is moving over towards the track, where on the right-hand side of the screen, there's that long line of Cybercabs. So very interesting day here at the track. So I'm going to reposition the drone. We'll fly over the West Warehouse on Wheels, take a look at a very active outbound lot, even though this is not a production day, which is a normal operation for Giga-Texas. What we do see here is a big mix of different vehicles: Cybertrucks, Cybercabs, Model Ys, and the Model YLs. They're in kind of mixed in patterns all over the place. So they're not really necessarily grouped together. Although here there are many Cybertrucks grouped together on this sort of the east side, and another growing group of Cybercabs here. Now, my previous video, there were only one line of Cybercabs. Most of them had been moved away. So these are clearly new. And it looks like some of them have the Cybercab logos on them. Many more, including the Cybertrucks, are at this supercharger site, and more of them are here along the west side of end of line. And then I'll just sort of follow along the edge of the building so you can get a chance to see what this activity looks like. I would suspect that these are all freshly made. Many of these since my previous video. When we watch them kind of backing up, I think we're going to see that these still all have people in them, so they're not fully autonomous. But when we will start seeing a lot more of those fully autonomous ones, and coming out to the lot should be coming pretty soon, considering the Cybercab launch event. Here are many of them being picked up by transport trucks. In this particular case, looks like 2 or 3 at a time. And I don't know where these are headed, but all of these appear to be the ones that have the steering wheel kit. So it most likely is going to places for more testing. This is interesting. We see this red, white, and then a group of Cybercabs together. All of these are for that direct delivery. And that is continuing nonstop and apparently very popular right now. In fact, I've talked to several sales reps recently and asked them, how busy is it truly? They believe that it is one of the, if not the biggest quarter that they have seen ever. I asked if it compares well to last quarter, and they said it is at a rate higher than what we saw last quarter. So just a little bit of anecdotal information for you. While we get to this part of the site, just first I wanted to
take a look at the materials that are being stored here. In the middle of the screen is what I think is rolls of geotextile membranes. Those are what are laid out onto a site to help strengthen and support the soil between different layers before construction begins. The fact that it's here suggests that we will see that installed very soon. Good view of the work that is being done to prepare the grade. There's still this large pond. There is a pipe going through it, so I think that they are draining it out. And that's going to have to be removed and then filled in for the grade as well. There is a person walking on this graded section for a great sense of scale. Some of the debris, some of those larger boulders that are near that person gives you a good idea of just how large this section is. Whatever it is that they are going to build here is going to be pretty substantial. And of course, the grade work continues. Overall, it looks like they are flattening out the grade at a construction level that is below grade for the road, including a Tesla road that we are flying over right now. More excavation work is underway on this part of the site. And of course, the trucks are coming by to pick up the dirt and then transport it to the more western border of this site so that they can level out that grade. So I'm going to get ready to cross over the highway. We'll take a look at the main factory, this intersection with Tesla Road, and some of the new paving that has been completed recently. We arrived at the 4680 portion of the factory. Still those large pipes, some additional equipment, large spools of cabling, and most of that cable looks like it has been installed already. I did notice next to the plastics section, these racks. This is the under or inner liner for the hood for the Cybercab. This is bonded to that reaction injected molded glossy gold exterior skin. And once these are together, I've had a chance while I was in the factory for the production line tour to pick one of these up. And the completed hood with both plastic inner and outer panels is a lot heavier than you might think. But this is what it looks like. And as we mentioned with the rear quarter panel support on my previous video, is these are what are necessary to give those panels that strength and also mounting locations for the installation onto the Cybercab. So that's pretty cool. We are also seeing more of the Cybertruck castings, both front and rear. And this is a look at what that appears like today. Most of these look like just standard Cybertruck rear and front castings. So there isn't anything new that I can see. I am keeping my eye open because I know a lot of people are wondering if there will be a different variant of the Cybertruck at some point. I don't think so, but I'll keep that in mind. So I'm going to fly up over the power lines, bring a drone back down, zoom in here at the melt center. The thing I want to show you is that the loading system on the right-hand side of the screen appears to be operational now, or at least mostly operational, and that duplicates the other one right in the middle of the screen. So they can take all the aluminum and the scraps and melt it back down to make more castings, many of which we see here are Model Y castings. So production is definitely moving along, and as I mentioned with the sales team suggesting that demand is quite high, that makes a lot of sense. Over at this section of the factory that is being reconfigured, not only do we see that large red and white opening of the walls, more of the work on the apron. I have seen some screw type piers in this location before. I don't see them today. So I'll keep watching to see what they're going to do. And of course, the secondary entrance, all the glass panels have been removed. And this is what it looks like on the inside as I zoom in. They have these temporary walls because right behind this on the ground floor is the body in white with the robotic welders. And above that on the second floor is part of the Cybercab production line. So this is what it looks like today. Of course, there's more excavation work on the bottom of the screen going on as well. I'll keep the zoom in. We'll fly along the side of the factory where we see more of the production equipment that has been delivered being slowly moved inside as they build out more. There have been a lot of different permits that have been filed supporting the NV93, which is the Cybercab production line in this part of the factory. So that is probably all related. At the exit point for the Cybercabs, I don't see any really at this time coming out of the factory. So of course that may indicate that we're just a little bit early on this production down day. So I don't think that there's really anything to see on this day coming out of that site. I will kind of pan the drone over, show you the lined pond without the liner in it. And of course the materials that are being staged here, many of which are for body in white, also in that section where they're building out more production lines. And we also see what looks to be concrete panels, wall panels, some of them with openings maybe for receiving doors or regular doors. That's probably all going into that area that is being reconfigured. At the lined pond, a lot of activity today, and this is a great sign. First, the outfall channel, most of the concrete appears to be completed. There's just some scaffolding that needs to be taken down. They have to finish up the two walls to join it into the outfall channel here, and then the rest of the grade work here will be completed. And on the east side, as we'll be coming into view here momentarily, the liner is now starting to go in. This is sort of the base liner, and it's directly on top of the soil. I expect to see a white liner most likely put in at some point. That'll be two different layers to make sure it is watertight. The reason why they're doing this is that this is a water retention pond instead of a detention pond, meaning that there will always be water in it, very similar to the cyber pond at the south end of the building. It will also be able to absorb a lot more of the storm rainwater runoff to make sure that this does not flood and it has a good water management system. The bottom of the screen, more of those workshops. Some of them still look like they are being partially disassembled, but still in operation. As we fly over the recycle yard, we can get a close-in look at a lower altitude of the new concrete batch plant that's being put in. There's some concrete slabs being installed before they assemble everything. I've had some viewers ask, why do they need to have another concrete batch plant? Since there's one to the north of the site, and that's because there's just so much construction going on here, they need that extra capacity. And also, the one that's further to the north up by the electrical switch yard is also serving other areas around Austin and not just Giga-Texas. At the Advanced Technology Chip Fab Foundation, I think the word that comes to mind is just extremely busy. There are equipment in almost every section. There's excavations going on. Rebar cages are being put into place. There's concrete being poured. There's geopiers and also reinforced piers that are being made. They're working on some of the edges where there may be a perimeter grade beam beginning to take place or take shape. There's also these reinforced kind of like footings and foundations being put in along the east side of the wall. A lot more of the rebar cages are being fashioned here in this yard and getting ready for their turn to be installed. Now I'm going to get in close here, zoom in and show you a better look at all of these footings, the pedestals that are being built, the reinforced concrete around each of these footings, the shape that they are starting to take, and also some forms for vertical concrete walls on the left-hand side of the screen. Here's a good look at some of the work underway with a concrete pour and making this another one of these reinforced footing, or I don't know, almost like a perimeter grade structure that's being made here on the factory foundation. In the middle, we see this excavation with large rebar cages, concrete, and more pedestal footings starting to emerge. And as we get closer to much of the geopier work and some of the pump trucks that are injecting the concrete into the piers, the very large excavation that was irregularly shaped is now starting to be filled back in. I don't know exactly why they are approaching the work in this case, but this is what it appears like. You can also see that trucks are arriving with dirt, going down into each of the kind of access tunnels and pouring more of the dirt in to fix this graded section. But that is what the foundation of the Advanced Technology Chip Fab looks like right now this morning. And as I zoom back out, a good overall shot of how it is coming together. More of the steel and other building materials on this east side by the River Road extension. More work on the east side of River Road along through this tree line as they grade out some of the area and also take out some of these piles of dirt. We also see the large pipes next to this pavilion into the trees and some other items being stored here as well. So a nice look across this entire east support facility back to the main factory and what the Advanced Technology Chip Fab looks like. This mound of gravel seems to continue to take up a flat top shape. And there's some vehicles on it with maybe almost an access road. I'm not sure what the purpose is here. Maybe just temporary storage and then allow the vehicles to have easy access once it's needed. There is more earthwork underway just to the north of that large pile. And this is what it looks like here today. More of the items being stored on this staging yard, plus another rounded top tent structure that's being erected. So another workshop may be in the works. We do see concrete panels at the bottom of the screen that may be to replace or add on to some of the construction that is going on here around the central support facilities, which includes the crash testing and battery cathode plant on the left, the die shop in the middle, and Cortex 2 on the right. In between is this very large construction site that will have these large water tanks at the north. In fact, the screw-type piers are being installed and leveled out here this morning. Also appears to have some argon tanks for welding. So that is definitely coming together with the green trench boxes and some of the other trenching that is going on here on this site. They are preparing for and in the process of installing more pipe segments throughout this kind of underneath the foundation for where we'll see a superstructure built at some point. The workshops continue to be very busy, as you can tell, when they are manufacturing or fabricating various different items, plus doing some storage of equipment for the construction that is going on throughout this entire area. Some more items on the left at the north part of the die shop. Those would be installed inside. There is work going on in there to reconfigure some of this space. We're flying right over the die shop right now. Of course, the 30 megapacks continue to be installed with some of the transformers and electrical systems. The cooling system part 1 is operational. Again, they have these temporary chillers to augment that. And on the south side, this water detention pond has now had some riprap put in. That's that rock, maybe a drain. And they're getting ready for this to be finalized here very soon. On the west side, this is what the Megapack installation looks like so far. They are continuing to add in the part 2 coming into view at the center top of the screen. There is the crane there, and it's kind of positioned so that once more of the megapacks arrive, it'll be able to start lifting them into place. And this northwest corner, work continues with the screw-type piers, getting ready for the platforms, and some of the beams that will help support the megapacks on this north side. And as I maneuver back around, you can get a good idea of how the megapacks are coming together. And I wanted to continue by the electrical switchyard where there are continued work underway to prepare for the mounts for these steel sectioned poles. And there's at least one that is completed by the container. And the other one, it looks like it's got a cover over it. So I don't know, there's another rebar cage there, so there's probably another to be built. Here, we can see very clearly that 2 more of the bases have been completed. Concrete's been poured on the one on the left. The one on the right is getting all the mount structure prepared. The forms are in place, and we should start seeing concrete very soon. This tells us that we're going to see 2 more of these very large steel poles installed, and the parts are on the ground next to it. This is that concrete batch plant that people have been asking about. It does serve Giga-Texas, but it also serves the area around Giga-Texas. So because of the amount of construction and the demand for concrete that's coming up, that's why they're putting that other batch plant in over on the east side. So looking to the north, I'll fly toward the west and get a good idea of how the north campus is coming together. There is a lot of changes. Some of it is on the upper left where they continue to do some excavation. And here at the bottom of the screen is the south part where they're kind of in a pause right now in the reclamation work. What this is going to be used for, I don't know, but I do know that there will be additional structures and support facilities built around the Optimus factory when it's completed. So I thought I would stay at a high altitude first, fly around 360 degrees of the site so you can get an overall view of what is coming together and how it looks today. And then we'll resume at a lower altitude and take a little bit more time to do some detail study of what is going on. So I hope you enjoy this 360 flight, and we'll resume the narration here momentarily. That's a really good look at the overall site. So I'm going to bring the drone down and we'll look a little bit more of the detail work that is underway. Now here we see some excavation very close to the south perimeter grade beam. You can see the rounded part of the dirt. That indicates that like we see on the north side, the south side is going to have the rounded corners as part of the architectural design. In the middle, we see a lot more of the footings, various different kinds that are being constructed. Some of the trenches for those footings are being filled in. And of course, geo-piers, are in the process of adding more here on the southeast corner. The perimeter grade beam on this section is definitely coming together. And also there's these new signs. They've been placed here. I thought I would zoom in so you can read them. This kind of just gives the workers and people visiting the site an idea of what is available here and where they can and cannot park their vehicles. As I mentioned, the perimeter grade beam is working right now here on this part of the site. There are some cutouts, and I don't know if those are for pipes or maybe for receiving doors or a little bit of all of those. So we'll have to see how that comes together. The steel continues to be delivered on site and rapidly installed with all of the cranes, although several of the cranes are laying down today. I'm not sure if they're being extended or if they're doing some maintenance. The bottom of the screen are the trusses that have been delivered to the site. And this is a good closer view of them. They've been lined up all along this area. It suggests that there will be a more open section of the factory at some point, unlike what we're seeing right now with the steel structure where there's heavy beams and columns for all 4 of the floors. So all of these trusses that I'm waiting to see where it's going to go. It'll be interesting to see how this is put together and what parts of the factory are going to be much more open, possibly without 4 floors. Maybe it'll be 2 large floors. And we have seen those trusses used in the exact same way at the main Giga-Texas factory. For example, on the side above the west main entrance, The original height of that was quite tall, about maybe, I don't know, 40, 50 feet tall, and the roof above that had those trusses. So this is a good view of the north side looking back towards the main factory. There is another development I wanted to show you here just on the east side of this green belt, and that is this. This is a pipe manufacturing plant. They are using the coils of steel that are delivered. As you can see on the left, the pipe is manufactured to the length that is desired, and then it is pulled off with this forklift and then stored here until they are used. Now in 2020 and 2021, this was also used at the main factory. The pipe manufacturing plant is where the parking garage, the covered parking garage, is now. That was used to make all of these pipes that are part of the Gigawatt loop, which goes all the way around and through parts of the main factory site. And it's part of the pretty substantial water management system for all of the rainwater runoff that otherwise would flood the area. So I'm expecting to see the same kind of thing here, which means we'll start seeing some trenching around the perimeter of this building at some point in the near future. Here's a good view to the north across the top of the factory. A good look at that north perimeter grade beam, all of the cranes, and how close the structure is starting to get to this northern boundary. I'll bring the drone back down. A nice look at this west side. There are these two kind of open sections on the left. I'm not sure what that is, but those are different than the rest of the structure. Maybe it's some sort of an entranceway. Hard to say for sure. Cranes here on the south side picking up more of the steel and getting ready to do that assembly. And of course, we see the earthwork at the bottom of the screen, and we're flying over the south perimeter grade beam. Good look at the part of the land that still needs to have the reclamation work. Large piles of dirt and gravel near these workshops. And with the lighting for this morning, this will give us a really nice look into these workshops. Get an idea of the activity that is underway in here. So that will be it for the flight today. Pretty wide ranging, but we did spend a lot of time with the East support facility with that advanced technology chip fab coming into view now, and of course the North campus with the Optimus factory. And I hope that you enjoyed that more enhanced coverage of those particular areas. And of course the Cybercab launch event coming up very soon, which I think everybody's excited about. So with that, I'll bring it close to the video. I wish you a great weekend, and again, thank you very much for your support.